Okay, guys, today actually we're again continue what we started last time. So we're still talking about lesson 2, chapter 12. We're talking about different types of chemical reaction. So who can guys remind me what are the different types of chemical reaction that we studied? Okay, if you just know, raise your hand, guys. So Maya, yes, Maya, could you tell me just one type? Yes, Maya.
Mister, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you right now.
Oh, okay. One type single replacement.
So single replacement. So single replacement is a one of the type of the chemical reaction. What happens in single replacement, Maya?
And single replacement reactions, one element replaces another element.
So one element replace another element in a compound. Okay, so as we said before, does any element able to replace any element? That means does any element must replace or any element must replace other elements? Okay, is that no?
No,
So
elements that are less than
yep, yes, continue, yes.
and elements that are less reactive,
Yep.
elements that are more reactive than the elements that is going to be replaced can replace the element.
Yeah, so the most reactive elements replace less reactive ones, which means, okay, the one who's more reactive could replace the less reactive, but the opposite cannot happen. For example, as we said, we could find, for example, potassium could, for example, replace calcium, but calcium cannot replace potassium. Why? Because actually potassium is more reactive than calcium. So how could we know the elements which are more reactive than the others? So we said you should back to the chemical activity series, which is a descending order that you're gonna find already uploaded in your SMS. So that's the first kind of reaction, single replacement. What are the other types that we saw, guys? Is Ali?
Decomposition.
Decomposition reaction. What's happening in a decomposition reaction, Ali?
A compound breaks down into two or more substances.
Yeah, so here we find a chemical substance or a compound that's going to break down into smaller compounds or elements or two or more substances. So it's a breaking down reaction, okay? So decomposition reaction, we find that we have one reactant before the arrow that yields to two or more products after the arrow. Good, Ali. So who can tell me what kind of reaction is completely the opposite of decomposition? Okay, yes, Judy.
Synthesis.
Synthesis reaction. So what happens in synthesis reaction?
The elements or substances
Yeah,
combine together.
two or more substances they combine together to build just one product or a new substance. Okay, so here like this we call this synthesis reaction. So the common equation for a synthesis reaction that we have two reactants before the error that yields two product yields one product after there. That's the common, okay. But actually, in some synthesis reaction, we may find that we have more than one product. But just we say talk about the common equation. So like this, we already know about three types of chemical reaction. What about the fourth type that we studied? Yes, Hannah Hamdi.
Did we mention the single replacement and a
We
double
mentioned
replacement?
synthesis. Yeah, we mentioned single replacement. So the last one is yes, Hannah, as you said.
Double
Yeah,
replacement.
double replacement reaction. Good. So what happens in double replacement reaction?
When two compounds
Good.
switch places, each element in it switch places with each other
Good.
to
Okay.
form new two compounds.
So good, it's a reaction between two compounds in which elements of these compounds switch places, okay? So they produce two new compounds, okay? So we call this double replacement. And in that type of reaction, we don't care about who one will not be reacting more than the other, because as they are two different metals or two different elements in these two compounds, of course, one of them is more reactive than the other, so it will switch the place, okay? And like
And
this, the
Mr.
reaction will done. Yep, yes, Hannah?
Mr. I will join from another device because my laptop is about to run out of charge.
Okay,
So I will leave. Okay, I
okay.
will leave now.
Okay. So here like this guy, we talk about four types of chemical reaction and we know how to differentiate between them and actually what happens in each type of chemical reaction or what the manner that the reaction follow. So we still just have one type, the fifth type of a chemical reaction, which is a combustion reaction. Okay. So what actually the word combustion meaning? So actually the word combustion, it means burning, or somehow it's sometimes equal to the verb burning. Although the little difference is okay, or actually a little chemical differences between combustion and burning, but we just say what is a combustion reaction? What is it? It's a chemical reaction in which substance combines with oxygen and release energy. So actually here in that case, we're gonna find that any substance that is gonna combine with oxygen, and there is a must. What is the must? The must that results contain energy, carbon dioxide, and water vapor. So we call this combustion reaction. So for example here guys, to clarify the idea, how could I differentiate between synthesis reaction, for example, and combustion reaction? Because in synthesis reaction, maybe some elements they are going to combine with oxygen also. So how could I know the difference? Look with me here guys, I'm going to clarify for you. For example, if we said that Fe is reacting with O2, so it produces, let's put here, okay, it produces 2FeO. Okay, so that is that considered to be a combustion reaction? What do you think, guys? Is that considered to be a combustion reaction? What do you think? Yes or no? Tell me your opinion.
Yes.
So Sama said yes. Okay. Do you agree about Sama's opinion?
No.
No. So Hannah say no. Sama said yes. So could Usama tell us why it's why do you decided that it's considered a combustion reaction?
Because it combines with oxygen.
Because it reacts with oxygen. Yes, sir. You said this. Okay. That's regarding to the definition. It combines with oxygen.
The Mister.
But yep. Okay, just a minute. Here, yes. So Hannah, you said no. Why no, Hannah?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. It's yes.
Actually, Hannah, you are right. It's not a combustion reaction.
How?
Mister,
Yes, Yusuf. I'm
I
gonna
want
tell
to
you,
say
Hannah.
that it's not a combustion because maybe 2FeO doesn't release energy.
Yep. Okay. Actually, this one or this kind of a reaction, it's not a combustion reaction. Why? Because we said the results of combustion reaction always the same. What are the results? Any combustion reaction, okay, that always produces carbon dioxide, water vapor, and energy. Okay, that is released. Okay, so we mainly based on the energy that is released. Okay, but actually, in another word, we should remember that combustion is equal somehow equivalent to the burning reaction. So burning of any material always produces carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. Okay, so like this here we call the combustion. While here, once iron reacts with oxygen, it produces FeO, the iron oxide. Simply that is the rust. So that is a simple synthesis reaction. So again, how could I differentiate between the synthesis reaction in which the oxygen combine with whatever the element is, and combustion reaction? So combustion reaction will find that oxygen will combine with the substance, but the results must be somehow, okay, the same. Carbon dioxide, water vapor, and energy. You get the idea, guys? Simply it's
No,
Yes.
I
burning.
don't
Yep,
understand.
you can't understand. Okay, Judy, pay
No.
attention with me. I'm gonna ask you what happens actually when you are in barbecue and you start to burn some coal, or even burning whatever, some gas or something like this. What do you observe?
Heat.
Yeah, you get a heat.
Oh,
Yeah, brilliant. You get a heat energy. Plus that, you observe some gases come out. There is some smoke come out. Yes or no?
yes.
Yeah, so actually the smoke which comes out, that's carbon dioxide and water vapor, okay? Maybe other gas, but mainly carbon dioxide and water vapor. And also you feel the heat, that is the energy. So whatever you burn, gas, okay, natural gas, you burn oil, you burn coal, okay? Even a piece of plastic, piece of paper, whatever anything burns, always it provides you heat. And in the same time, you find these gases come out, or the smoke come out, which is carbon dioxide and water vapor. So simply, these are examples of combustion reaction. In that reaction, okay, oxygen is just as considered as initiation or necessary to burn, because we cannot burn in absence of oxygen, as we know, because we know that oxygen gas doesn't burn, but it helps in burning. Okay, so the idea here, okay, these are examples of combustion, but here in that example, iron react with oxygen, does this reaction provide you with any energy? Do you feel heat once you get a piece of metal rust?
No.
No, actually, I don't feel this kind of heat. So, do you find there is any carbon dioxide or water vapor are produced as a result of that reaction?
Yes, carbon dioxide is.
Here, from this one. Where's carbon dioxide?
Okay,
That's iron
لا
oxide.
هنا لا here no.
So no, so simply I couldn't consider this as a combustion reaction. It's just simple synthesis reaction, iron combined with oxygen to produce iron oxide. So that's synthesis reaction. While combustion reaction, the results, the products are constant all the time, whatever the substance. For example, here propan, C3H8. Here we have another thing here that is okay. That's butane. Okay, so here propan and that's butane. They are two different chemical substances. Okay, but the results always the same. Always produce carbon dioxide, water vapor, and the heat or the energy is released. You get the idea? You get the idea,
Yes.
guys? So again,
Yes.
combustion reaction has a constant results or constant products. They never change, even the reactant change. So here always oxygen is a fixed reactant that will combine with whatever, we don't care, okay, say X, okay, and always produce the same result. So we are gonna say that is a combustion reaction. So like this, guys, you know how to differentiate between combustion reaction and synthesis?
Yes.
Is it clear, Judy?
Yes.
Guys, what do you think? Is it clear for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this, we know the fifth okay type of the chemical reaction, and we like as we could know the 5 types of chemical reaction once we observe or once we could read chemical equation, we could predict what the type of the reaction that already happens here, okay, regarding to the chemical equation. So simply you may get a question that it already provides you with some chemical equation and ask you to classify these reactions into their types or their categories. Let's check, okay, your knowledge by answering the following question, guys. So here, let's just remember what we studied in that lesson. Okay, in that lesson, actually, we studied some facts that chemical reactions are classified according to the patterns seen in their reactants and products. So we could find, in that case, in a synthesis reaction, we have two products. Okay, they are two reactants. They are gonna combine, just building up one product. Okay, so that is simply once we observe a chemical equation that follow that manner. So we are gonna classify this reaction as a synthesis reaction. In the other hand, or the completely the opposite is decomposition, just one reactant that is going to break down into two or more products. Okay, so that is a breaking down or a combustion reaction. Then we find single replacement. It's a reaction in which one element is going to replace the other one in the compound. So depends on the reactivity. So here we find this one is more reactive than this one, so it could kick it out and take its position or its place in a compound. Here, the fourth type, okay, we said that the double replacement, and the fifth is combustion, as we just mentioned in the beginning of the session. So let's try to answer the following question. What term describes a type of chemical reaction in which two or more substances combine and form a compound? So this considered as, let's find, Kenzie.
D.
So D, it's a synthesis reaction. So actually true. Okay. So then post to the next here. In which type of chemical reaction does a substance combine with oxygen and releases energy? Or that's release energy. That means energy is a must to be a product. Yes, Osama?
Combustion.
Combustion. Great. Okay. So here that's combustion. Let's pass to the third question. Which term refers to chemical reaction in which the negative ions in two compounds switch places, forming two new compounds? Two new compounds. So that is which one?
A. Double replacement.
Yeah, so that's a double replacement because here the two negative signs will switch their places. So we're gonna have two new compounds. That's a double replacement. So like this, guys, I think they are easy to know the different types of a chemical reaction or how we could classify the chemical reaction. Any hard question regarding to this part, guys?
No.
Any hard question here?
Oh, thank you.
No.
I think it's easy, yes?
Mister, are
Yes.
we done with the lesson?
Yes, like this, the lesson is we done of the lesson. Okay. So let's see, guys, what we supposed to do. Okay. So actually, first you're gonna answer your section review, or you have a section review, okay, that found in the lesson review that you found in your textbook. That will be your homework. We're gonna discuss it together tomorrow, inshallah. Beside that, okay, I'm gonna upload this sheet in the in SMS. Okay, look with me here, guys. This sheet is that represents some elements, okay, and some radicals or some polyatomic ions. So we supposed to memorize, okay, these. Yes, you're supposed to memorize this, the symbols, the name, and the symbol, because we are gonna practice how to write a chemical formula to be able to write a chemical equation. For example, when I ask you, what is the chemical formula of sodium sulfate? So I cannot know, or you don't know. Okay, so sodium sulfate, it's an A2SO4. So how we could know that it has a, somehow we're gonna practice how to write this. It's very important, important knowledge. This part is actually is not mentioned in your textbook, but it's highly recommended to be known. Okay, so like this, guys, suppose you're gonna find this worksheet, you're gonna find also an SMS, actually in the folder which called summaries and PPT. So you will find this sheet, just download it, okay, and start to memorize. So what we should know, we are gonna just memorize hydrogen is H, okay, and we just mentioned the number of the charge on. So hydrogen H1. So the valency, or once we took the valency, it means the number of the charge that it carry. For example, here hydrogen has a positive one, which means okay, it's already its valency equal 1. Sodium also 1, Ag 1. While here, for example, magnesium is positive 2, so that means its valency, okay, equal 2. So what is valency and how we're gonna use this? We're gonna just tell you next time once we start to practice how to write a chemical formula, but you must be ready by memorizing the symbols and their valencies. Okay, guys?
Mister, what is the
Yep.
meaning of ion?
So actually, we're gonna discuss. We actually iron we studied last year. Okay, you're supposed
I
to
can't
remember.
remember, but
We said that ion, it is any chemical, okay, or any atom that lose or gain atom. Sorry, lose or gain electron, because we know a natural atom, it has equal number of protons which are positive and electrons which are negative. So suppose the atom is neutral, doesn't have any charge. But once the atom, or during chemical reaction, once the atom loses electrons, it turns to be a positive ion, because once it loses electrons, the number of positive protons will be more than the negative electrons. While other atoms, they able to gain electrons. So once they gain electrons, the number of negative electrons will be more than positive protons. So we call them negative ions. You get the idea?
yes.
Yeah, you got it, Yusuf? Do you remember?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, so like this, guys, okay, you could observe, okay, or use this table, must memorize it very well. I'm gonna just ask you to more about it, so don't forget to memorize it. Keep working on it. Just use a paper and pen to write it down more than one time until you memorize it, okay? And then we're gonna tell you how we are gonna use this symbols next session. So any other question, guys?
No.
Do you have
No.
any question? I think today's lesson is easy, but you have an important task you should supposed to do. You must, okay, memorize this and answer your section review. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Goodbye.